When people talk about success, they love big stories. They love dramatic breakthroughs. They love sudden wins. They love overnight transformation. But what they don't love is the truth, that empires are not built in explosions. They are built in minutes. When I speak about a 10-minute habit, some people laugh. They think, Jack, 10 minutes? That can't change a life. But those same people spend 3 hours arguing online, scrolling through other people's lives, complaining about their own. Success is never about time. It is always about discipline. I learned very early that if I could control just 10 minutes of my day, I could eventually control my entire life. When I was young, I was not the smartest. I failed exams, failed interviews, failed to impress anyone. I was rejected from jobs many people would consider simple. But there was one thing I could control, my routine. 10 minutes reading English every morning, 10 minutes writing business ideas, 10 minutes practicing speaking, small, consistent steps, little habits that look silly on the outside. People around me said, why waste time? It will not matter. But remember this, losers judge effort by result. Winners judge effort by consistency. I wasn't building a result in those 10 minutes. I was building a person capable of results. You see, most people dream loudly and act quietly. I chose the opposite. I let my actions whisper until success made them echo. Every day I woke up, and even when I had nothing, no money, no opportunities, no support, I had discipline. Those 10 minutes were like sharpening a sword long before the battle began. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. If you cannot keep a promise to yourself for 10 minutes, how will you keep a promise to your future for 10 years? Greatness looks dramatic in hindsight, but in real life, it looks boring. It looks repetitive. It looks unimpressive. It looks like waking up and doing the same small thing again and again when nobody is watching and nobody is clapping. People fail because they think they need a big opportunity to begin. But the truth is, the moment you give your dream 10 minutes, you have already begun. The world only remembers doers, not talkers. Those 10 minutes made me a doer. They trained my mind. They built my discipline. They shaped my future 1 minute at a time. An empire never starts with money, connections, or luck. It starts with a quiet moment where you choose discipline over comfort, when you choose progress over excuses, when you say, I will begin with what I have. The habit builds the person builds the empire. In the end, success is simple. Do the small things with commitment and the big things will come. 10 minutes is not a habit, it is a message to your future. I am serious. People always ask me, Jack, when did you know you were ready to build Alibaba? And I always smile because the truth is simple. I was never ready. I did not have money. I did not have experience. I did not have investors, technology, resources, or even a real office. I had a group of friends, a small apartment, and a dream people thought was foolish. But what I did have, the only thing that mattered, was motion. I chose to start when every logical excuse told me not to. Because winners don't begin when they feel ready. Winners begin, and then they learn, adapt, and grow into readiness. Starting is what makes you capable. Waiting is what destroys you. In those early days, I gave myself 10 minutes each morning to build my future, before the world had a chance to doubt me, before fear woke up stronger than my ambition. During those 10 minutes, I planned, I visualized, I wrote down ideas, I sent messages to people who could help. Many mornings, nothing happened, no replies, no breakthroughs, but every day something was happening inside me. I was teaching myself that excuses did not control me, that fear did not command me, that I could act even when uncertainty filled the room. People believe they need motivation to start, but motivation comes after you move, not before. If you wait to feel inspired, life will bury your dreams. Hesitation is the silent killer of ambition. The world is full of smart people who never began because they wanted the path to be perfect. But perfection is a prison. It convinces you that progress must look impressive. It never does. It looks humble. It looks like 10 minutes of messy, uncertain, imperfect effort. But those 10 minutes separate dreamers from builders. I remember people around me saying, Jack, maybe later, maybe when we have funding, maybe when the internet becomes bigger, maybe. Maybe is the language of failure. Now is the language of winners. When you start, even with nothing, you are already ahead of 99% of the world. Most people will spend their entire lives preparing to begin and never take the first step. Action is the only real teacher. Every time I acted, I learned something. Every time I hesitated, fear grew stronger. A 10-minute habit is not about time. It is about identity. It says, I am someone who moves. I am someone who builds. You cannot lead a future you are unwilling to touch today. If you cannot give your dream 10 minutes now, you will not give it 10 years later. The world rewards those who start when they are scared, uncertain, unprepared. Because that is the proof you believe in yourself more than in circumstances. Remember, the greatest advantage you can ever have in life is simply beginning while others are still thinking. Before you build a company, before you build a career, before you build wealth, you must build your mind. People think success starts with skills or money or opportunity. No. Success starts with the battle inside your head. Every morning for 10 minutes, I train my mind like a soldier going to war. Not against the world, but against doubt, fear, laziness, and weakness. These enemies live inside you. If you cannot defeat them, it doesn't matter how smart you are or how big your dreams are. A weak mind destroys strong potential. When I was young, every day felt like a fight. I was rejected from jobs. I failed tests. I heard people whisper, Jack is not capable. And in the beginning, I believed them. That is the most dangerous moment in anyone's life. Not when the world doubts you, but when you start doubting yourself. But one day, I made a promise. I will control my thoughts or they will control me. So every morning, I spent 10 minutes strengthening my mindset. I reminded myself why I started. I asked myself what kind of man I wanted to become. I told myself if the world won't choose me, I will choose myself. Most people lose not because life is too hard, but because they surrender mentally before the battle even begins. They negotiate with fear. They listen to excuses. They allow emotions to decide their future. But discipline is learning to act even when you don't feel like it. Success is learning to move even when doubt screams in your ear. It is not the strongest who win. It is the mentally toughest. You can have a brilliant strategy, but if your mind is weak, your excuses will always win. I learned to treat negative thoughts the same way a warrior treats an enemy, with aggression. When fear whispered, what if you fail? I answered, what if I don't try? When excuses said, you are tired, I said, I am disciplined. When doubt asked, why you? I replied, why not me? Those 10 minutes were like daily armor. They gave me emotional control. They created resilience. They built a mindset that could survive rejection, humiliation, and setbacks. Remember, failure is not the opposite of success. Giving up is. I always tell young people, if you do not train your mind, someone else will control it. Society will tell you who to be. People around you will tell you what you cannot do. The world will try to limit you. But when you master your mind, no one can control your future. You become unstoppable. Opportunities follow clarity. Confidence attracts opportunity. A strong mindset builds strong results. Discipline is the muscle. Consistency is the fuel. Mindset is the foundation. And 10 minutes a day is enough to build a mind that refuses to quit. You do not need a perfect life to succeed. You need a disciplined mind. When your mind obeys you, your life will obey you. Train your thoughts and you will train your destiny. In today's world, failure is not the biggest danger. Distraction is. People lose their future not because they are incapable, but because they allow noise to drown their purpose. For 10 minutes every morning, I disconnected from everything and everyone. No phone, no messages, no opinions, no noise. In those 10 minutes, the world did not exist. Only my mission did. That silence was not a break from life. It was the moment I designed my life. Success begins when you stop listening to the world and start listening to yourself. When I first started Alibaba, everyone had something to say. Some people laughed. Some criticized. Some advised me to quit. If I had listened to them, Alibaba would not exist today. You see, most voices around you are not voices of wisdom. They are voices of fear, insecurity, and limitation. Not because people are bad, but because they project their own fears onto you. If you listen to every opinion, you will become a collection of other people's expectations, not the owner of your own destiny. Silence taught me clarity. Silence taught me courage. Silence taught me to trust myself when no one else did. People think discipline is about effort, but discipline is really about environment. If you surround yourself with noise, your mind becomes confused. If you surround yourself with distractions, your goals become distant. And if you allow everyone to speak louder than your dreams, you will live their life instead of yours. Those 10 minutes were like lifting weights for my attention. Every day I practiced focus. Every day I reminded myself my dream deserves quiet. The truth is, most people are addicted to distraction because distraction protects them from facing themselves. If they stay busy, they don't have to confront their excuses. If they keep scrolling, they don't have to face the pain of growth. But remember, comfort is the enemy of achievement. 10 quiet minutes gave me uncomfortable questions. Who am I becoming? Am I moving or just pretending? What matters today? Silence forces truth, and truth builds leaders. If you cannot silence opinions for 10 minutes, you will be crushed by them for a lifetime. Success requires selective hearing. Winners learn when to listen and when to close the door, shut the noise, and build in privacy. Everyone says they want success, but very few are willing to separate from distraction long enough to earn it. Train your focus like a weapon. Guard your attention like treasure. The world makes noise. Leaders create silence, and from silence, empires rise. When you start winning, don't apologize for it, people. Misunderstand success. They think it's peace, applause, celebration. They think the world hugs you once you start rising. No. When you start winning, the world doesn't clap. It tightens. It becomes suspicious. Friends question you. Family doubts you. Strangers judge you louder than ever. The same people who ignored you yesterday will suddenly have opinions today. Success does not reveal who you become. Success reveals who they truly are. When I started rising, I noticed something strange. Not everyone wanted to see me win. Most people don't hate failure. They hate your success. People used to laugh at me. Later, the same people said I was lucky, or privileged, or arrogant. Why? Because I refused to shrink myself to make them comfortable. When they saw me climb, they didn't see growth. They saw their excuses falling apart. Listen to me carefully. When you start winning, don't apologize for it. Don't dim your light to protect someone else's insecurity. Don't pretend you're still small just because they stayed small. You worked in the dark. You sacrificed sleep. You held pain like fuel. If someone feels uncomfortable when you rise, that's not your burden. You didn't betray them. You simply outgrew them. And winners don't need to explain growth. Success does not require permission. Remember this, the ones who truly support you won't fear your wings. They will help you fly higher. And the ones who try to pull you down, leave them exactly where you found them, at the level where comfort mattered more than ambition. Rise boldly. Rise loudly if you want. Rise silently if you prefer. But rise. And never apologize for becoming who you were meant to be, because the world never belonged to the comfortable. It belonged to the relentless. And now, it's your turn. Live like you're already the person you want to become. Before I became successful, I didn't wait for success to arrive before acting successful. I behaved like the person I wanted to be long before anyone believed I could become him. This is where most people fail. They say, when I have money, I'll be disciplined. When I get a business, I'll start waking early. When people support me, then I'll try harder. No. Life does not reward when. Life rewards already. You don't become disciplined after success. You become successful because you were disciplined. You don't gain respect and then act confident. You act confidently and eventually you earn respect. You don't wait for proof to believe. Belief creates the proof. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. You must start behaving like the future version of yourself now. If you want to be wealthy, think long-term today. Save today. Learn today. Invest in skills today. If you want to be powerful, stop reacting emotionally today. Stay calm today. Protect your energy today. Say no today. If you want to be respected, carry yourself with dignity today. Speak with intention today. Move with purpose today. Future you is not a stranger. Future you is a reflection waiting for you to catch up. When I had nothing, I still walked like I had direction. I still planned like I would build something big. I still spoke like my ideas would matter someday. And slowly, life started to match my belief. People think manifestation is magic. It's not. It's your behavior telling the universe, I am ready. Because you cannot receive what you are not prepared to carry. The world does not give you opportunities and then teach you how to handle them. The world tests you first. It watches your habits, your discipline, your response to doubt, your resilience when ignored. Only then does it trust you with the life you ask for. So begin now. Speak like the leader you are becoming. Work like the success you expect. Carry yourself like you already belong in the rooms you dream of. Live today as if the future you is already watching, because one day you will wake up and realize you didn't become successful. You grew into who you always were. The boring discipline that changes everything. People think success is passion, excitement, and inspiration. No, success is boredom done consistently. Everyone loves motivation. Everyone loves big dreams. Everyone loves saying, one day, but very few people love repetition. And repetition is the real giant. Do you know why most people never build empires? Because the habits that create greatness are not glamorous. They are simple. They are quiet. They are boring. 10 minutes of discipline every day beats 10 hours of passion once a month. Think about the gym. People go for 1 week with energy, take selfies, post online, and disappear after day 8. Why? Because excitement fades. Discipline stays. Let me tell you something harsh. If you only work when you feel inspired, you will lose to the person who works when they feel nothing. Success is not an emotional event. It is a mechanical process. I built Alibaba not because I woke up every day excited. Many mornings I woke up tired, frustrated, even hopeless. But I still showed up. I still did my small habits. I still moved forward inch by inch. People want fireworks. Life rewards the steady candle. If your habits are not boring, they're not habits. They're entertainment. You don't need motivation. You need ritual, routine. A repeatable, small daily action that compounds into an empire. 10 minutes of reading, 10 minutes of planning, 10 minutes of focus, 10 minutes of reflection. Small is not weak. Small is how giants are built. Every empire began with someone repeating a tiny action long after the excitement disappeared. So ask yourself, can I do it when it's boring? Because that is the real test. Greatness belongs to the person who masters monotony. Borrow strength until you build your own in the early days of my journey. I did not always have confidence. I did not always have certainty. I did not always believe I could win. But here is the truth. Many never admit. Sometimes you must borrow belief until you are strong enough to generate your own. People think success is a solo mission. No, sometimes the strongest thing you can do is hold on to someone else's vision for you until your vision becomes real. When I was rejected from jobs, laughed at, underestimated, ignored, there were a few people who believed in me more than I believed in myself. And even on days I wanted to quit, I could not disappoint them. So I kept going. Not because I felt powerful, but because I refused to waste someone's faith. Listen carefully. If you do not yet believe in your future, borrow belief from discipline. Borrow belief from routine. Borrow belief from your younger self who dreamed without fear. And if you have even one person who sees value in you, even if you cannot see it yet, hold on to that belief like oxygen. But remember this, borrowing strength is temporary. Eventually you must build your own, because there will come a day when no one is cheering, no one is watching, no one is reminding you. On that day, your habits must become your backbone. Your self-respect must become your fuel. You borrow belief to survive. You build belief to rise. And when you rise, you must become the one others borrow belief from. That is how empires continue. Build your empire in silence. When people hear the word empire, they imagine noise, applause, headlines, big declarations, big promises. But real empires don't begin with noise. They begin quietly, in the shadows, in empty rooms where no one is watching and no one is clapping. My empire did not start with investors or television cameras. It started with a small room, a cheap table, and a group of young people who believed something impossible. And yes, it also started with a 10-minute habit I practiced before anyone knew my name. Every morning, before the world demanded my attention, I worked on myself in silence. I did not post my goals. I did not announce my dreams. I protected them like seeds underground. Because the beginning is the most fragile stage of success. When your dream is a baby, the world will try to kill it with doubt, with laughter, with questions like, who do you think you are? So I stayed quiet. I let my discipline speak for me. People think success is noisy. No. Noise comes after the victory, not before it. The world only claps once you already built the foundation. I always say, talk less, work more. But here is a deeper secret. If you broadcast your dream too early, you invite doubt before you build strength. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. Lions do not roar when they hunt. They roar when they win. Every morning in those 10 minutes, I reminded myself, Jack, nobody believes in you yet, so you must believe twice as hard. And I accepted a painful truth. The world does not reward intentions. It rewards results. That is why I never needed to announce what I would do. I simply did it. Many young people today want to show progress more than they want to make progress. They want likes before they earn respect. They want applause before they do the work. But remember, a noisy dream usually dies quietly. A quiet dream grows loud with success. Every empire looks like nothing before it looks like everything. When Alibaba was just an idea, nobody cared. When we finally succeeded, everyone suddenly said they knew it would work. People forget the silent years. They only celebrate the visible ones. So protect your dream, work in silence, earn your noise, and one day, when your results speak so loudly that the world listens without you saying a word, you will understand the power of what you built. Do the secret work now. Let the world catch up later. Let your discipline make the noise your words never had to. That is how empires are born. Not in noise, but in quiet determination repeated every single day.